Hi, my name is Elice Turner, and this is my capstone presentation on community response to crisis. I chose this topic because I feel it's an important topic in today's world. I feel that if people had a better view of their community and the people in it, the people would have a different response when things occur in their community. My introduction. This topic touched my heart because I'm a part of a community where people sometimes chooses not to speak up. In 2019 of December, my son was shot in his community outside of his home. Although there were neighbors or witnesses that saw what happened, out of fear or lack of trust and concern, they chose not to speak up. So ultimately, it led to slow response of my son being able to receive medical treatment. So I think that if I could figure out, or we could figure out how to bring things like love, trust, and togetherness back to the community, it would make for stronger relationships and quicker response when it comes to tragedy or things that happen in the community. My proposal is that I would search for answers. Um, I would search for answers as to why people no longer have trust, the causes and conditions that causes the breakdown in the community. My goal is to bring people in the community together to establish resources for a better education and better career opportunities. My research methods were Pew, pewresearch.org, pewsocialtrends.org, and psychologytoday.com. My biases are that everyone should take pride in their community where they live, and that people should naturally trust until given reasons not to. The key words that I used for my research were community breakdown, community trust, and communities working together. My research findings were that education and financial status played a big part in the community and whether or not people had trust or lack thereof. And that also it played a part on a lot of people's self-confidence and whether or not they were involved or not involved in the community. I also found that mental health and social statuses or social connections in the community played a big part on communication and the personal bonds that people had either at home in their personal life or their ties to their communities. Oops, went too far. Okay. And my Pew study, this graph was a graph that I used in my research, and it was just how you rate your community, and it broke down from the different age groups, and also whether it was a larger community or a smaller community, and just how people's different opinions ranged from whether they had total trust, a lack of trust, or kind of in the middle. Oops, go back up. Okay. The opinions that were formed from my research findings are that people naturally do want to belong to their community, or do have concern just out of natural instincts. But sometimes the community that they live in, or even the resources and things that are available to them, can have an effect on whether or not they will show that concern or be a part of. So, again, some of the things that came up were the education, mental health, and financial situations. My hypothesis is that if we get answers to these things or find ways to help the people in the community, whether it be education, mental health, their financial status, that those things may give people or encourage people to be a part of their community, to build the community up, or even the people in it, so that there won't be division. A lot of times people don't trust or choose not to be a part of because they don't feel like they're worthy or they add up. So if we could find ways to encourage people and build them up, or build up the resources in the community, it may give people or help people to have pride in who they are and where they live, and also the people in their community. The findings were broken trust, lack of education, and financial struggles in most cases. The value to my future for this would be the relationships that could be gained, the community, bringing the community together, ways to have the family, young and old, be a part of the community and have unity within the community. People coming together and improving the education in communities. Some communities are divided with the children due to some areas having better education than others, or lack of resources in the schools. And also the financial security. A lot of times communities are split up or broke down due to the financial status of its members. The value to my community would be better education, again, a healthy attitude about where we live, and more career opportunities. I know in my community alone, and just this time that we live in, everyone's concern is more so about their career, or their financial situations in life. So I know that the value to my community would be better education, better health care, and also more career opportunities. My reflections, I'm sorry for the pause. My reflections were, one, learning that I'm a little more passionate about this topic than I thought, and just mainly because I come to understand that if people tend to lack trust, if people are living in fear, their response when things strike their community or even their neighbor, they tend to turn a deaf ear or a blind eye, and just mainly out of fear of not knowing what could happen, or if the relationships could be broken even further, not knowing if there could be repercussions if they witness or see things that happen in the community, and not really knowing what could happen to them or their family members. So I come to understand that sometimes those things, or even their mental health situations, could cause them to isolate and not want to be a part, or even be involved when things like that happen. So it keeps them from wanting to speak up or to call for help, which keeps first responders or the police, paramedics, or whoever's involved that may be responding to that crisis. It prevents them from being able to do their jobs the way that they would need to if they don't have people in the community coming together and working together for the person or the situation that's taking place in the community. My strengths when it came to this research was finding the information. I really enjoyed looking this information up. I was really surprised by some of the findings that I found, and that not taking the information personal, because I do come from a community that's, I guess, would be considered not high class or suburban neighborhood. I don't come from a neighborhood like that, and sometimes the opinions that were coming from other people could be offensive, or if you take it personally, it could make you a little depressed. So that was something I was glad that I didn't take anything personal, that these were people's personal opinions that didn't affect me. And the other thing that I was pretty good at during this was the summarizing, which I'm never really good at summarizing. Oh, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.